the amazing Lila Peasant and Patrick Pedrosa. Cozy up on that sofa. I was here. You brought your bag with you. My tush push. Your tush push.
Yo, so I did kind of like the hardcore Fandango. So if everyone says you do Fandango, yeah.
I've done Fandango, but you don't probably over a dozen panels this weekend. That's the most energetic intro that I've seen someone do. Committed. How are you guys doing? Welcome to Megacon. Having a good weekend so far?
It's been a blast. It's been a blast.
It's a blast.
I'm adjusting still. I think I'm adjusting to the time. Kind of, then I gotta go back and adjust again.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
Have you guys frequented the UK often?
I was at the UK last year I've been Megacon Dublin and Megacon Manchester.
Wonderful.
And then after that, I went to, I did a couple of trips, Liverpool, London, and Edinburgh. So this is my second time.
That's a real cocktail of different accents that you
Indeed.
must have heard. How do you find the variety of British accents?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah? What's been your
I
favourite so
love
far?
Edinburgh because it's very, it's very musical. But Glasgow is very nice because it's got that nice working class feel to it.
This is voice
Very
acting.
British. Well, Victorian British, very proper British. I really appreciate, It's like, look, you got East London, and it's very nice. And you got that for the raps and things like that, and that's really what I like. Look, I feel like in past life I was like this guy that went like down in the cellar, and he's always like, oh yeah, you're always from Jerry. So,
Good lord, that was exquisite. To be fair, it's not very common that you meet American actors. A lot of American actors do English accents, but I've never heard some so confidently done. Those were great, and an astounding array. We just went on an EasyJet journey of the British Isles.
I have fun making my Uber drivers laugh.
I bet, that's brilliant. And so, what about yourself?
Yo, my daughter watches Paddington Bear. So that's all I know. I'm not great at accents. This is the master.
No kidding.
Like, yeah, it's like, I don't want to follow that up. You know what I'm saying? But this is my first time in England.
And are you enjoying your time in the London town?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, honestly, I was kind of bummed a little bit because I was on the plane, right? And it got all, it was like sunny, and I'm like, yo, there it is! And then, like, we got below the clouds, and it just got all gloomy, and I was like, oh.
Yes.
But I was going to be turning on. But it does get
It's a sunshine.
I live in Southern California, and it's gloomy where I live too. You know what I mean? So yeah, like it's overcast a lot, and sometimes, but yeah, it's been pretty cool. Like, tomorrow I don't have to do anything. Well, I'm here with my wife, so I've got to do a lot of stuff. But
Is
and
she getting your shopping?
I don't know what we're gonna do, but yeah, it should be fun. We'll see.
As a nation, we're pretty used to things being overcast. 97% of our days are overcast. So as a nation, we're enthused with a wistful melancholy. That was deeper than I wanted it to be. How the room go, he's right, but I wish he wasn't.
I wish I could feel the sun upon my face.
Please, Papa, tell me about the sun again, Father.
Tell me the stories of days of yore.
I miss warmth, Papa. So obviously, the first thing that we should probably do for people who aren't 100% sorry about being a sickly Victorian child is, Papa, please, Papa.
What is going on here?
This is
like that.
This has been an astounding
I'm a falling through.
Listen, I'm already having the best fun. I don't need the questions. We can just sit here and impersonate.
To plant seeds and make things grow.
Take your bit of earth. Don't expect anything to come of it.
Don't expect anything to come of it.
I used to watch The Secret Garden, which is one of the most
Oh my God.
depressing movies when you're like 7 years old and you're just like, I'm gonna eat Pop-Tarts and watch The Secret Garden, and then you watch it and you're like, this is really depressing. My favorite line was the bit of herb. Please, might have a bit of herb. Like,
For a shiny shilling. Yes. Well, I'm glad you've been so influenced by such British culture as The Secret Garden. So let's go through the rigmarole that we should do.
Oh, yes.
Would you like to introduce the characters that you guys play within Genshin?
I suppose so. I'm Lila Persons, and I'm mostly known as Adept Xiao, Genshin Impact.
Patrick Pedrosa, I voice Scaramouche, Wander, Haka, Quinny Kazushi, Don Sombrero. They're all one person, so it's me.
That's a nice number.
There's like 20 more names out there, you know, so I don't actually know them all.
So I feel like a good place to start is at the beginning. How did you guys get involved in Genshin? From the start of the
started
audition?
on a sunny Tuesday, in the before time. Before, when they could see people face to face instead of behind the pane of glass. No, it was. I had a weird situation happen. So I found out after the fact that a lot of the Genshin cast received an entire audition packet and went through the whole procedure of going through things. I was not that case. I had worked with the director on a couple other projects. Chris had heard me doing everything from teenage boys to wolves and creatures and things like that. He knew kind of, I guess, a general idea of my range. And he called me in to the studio to audition for this angsty teenage boy. And I looked at the artwork and I listened to the sample and I was like, this is pretty cool. So I kind of did it and we toned it back from where it originally started, which was a little bit too aggressive.
Sure.
And then I found out later that I was the only person he had asked to read for Xiao. And then I got a call back 2 weeks later when I was visiting my family in Connecticut, and then we kind of read some more stuff, talking about fear of lightning and rain and things like that, and demons not stopping for it, and that's kind of how it happened.
So you didn't have to sort of go, please, Papa.
Please, Papa, I wish to read Genshin.
Please let me play Xiao.
Make an impact on my life.
Apache, same question over to you at your audition process. Please, Papa.
People got packets.
Apparently.
Wow, I got like.
Would you like to explain what a packet is?
Yeah, please. I don't even know.
Not a packet, apparently like not a physical packet, but like a little list of actual characters for like a whole bunch of the characters in the game was sent out to a bunch of agents for the email, for the auditions. And for whatever reason, I guess certain people were just chosen specifically to read for one character, and I was one of those people. So that was interesting. I was like, wait a minute, I could have read for Paimon? Yeah.
How would your Paimon voice be?
Paimon loves you! Hey, what's up? I'm Paimon. Journey! Oh, you should go there. This would be a good place to get some rad chickerfish.
You guys are crazy. I was
movie. It's like the jet lag and
I didn't get a packet. I got like, it says Scaramouche, here's one line, bro. That my agent's like, here you go. Try this character.
Good luck.
Good luck. It was like 2 lines. And then 2 weeks later, I booked the job, and then 2 years later, he was playable. Right? I had like 1 session, and then I didn't come back. I think it was like the Stars event, and had 1 session, and I came back 6 months later, and then I didn't come back for a year to start doing the trailers, and I was like, I didn't know what the game was. Still, when I was doing the trailers, I was like, what game is this? Like, I didn't even know. I don't play games, hardly, and yeah, it was pretty weird. Yeah.
So confused.
Yeah, you guys, just to let everyone know, I don't play Genshin. Yes! I do it! Every time I say that, I hit the ground.
You have cleft my heart in twain!
I'm not using my kid as an excuse, but I got a 6-year-old.
I beseech thee.
Anytime I have to myself, I'm like running or like auditioning or doing something like
But
that.
you must try. You must
I'm
see
gonna
the world
try.
that is Genshin. For it will take your life to another dimension.
Are we in the West End?
How many gigs does it use on your phone?
What?
How many gigs?
I use a PS5.
Okay.
I put it on an 86-inch TV and I live
Okay.
in Genshin.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like me on my phone, like
No.
glasses on.
You can do console. That's what
Okay.
I'm all about the PS5 life. So.
Now, these are... I'm conscious about that, actually. We don't offer...
Well, yeah, let's get snorkeling.
Wait, is that all the time you have?
That's all.
That is all the time.
Oh, I thought it had like an hour or something.
It's a half-hour panel that started a bit.
Sorry.
In this building.
But I also want to talk about that you guys don't just voice acting Genshin. You're more dimensional. you have lots of things. So Lila, for instance, you're Xiao in Genshin, but you're Demeter and Persephone in Hades, which is a very popular game. See? Your voice is in Diablo 4. And of course, you're most well known for Barbie Skipper in the Big Babysitting Adventure.
That's already the pirate.
Heck yeah.
AKA the Glyph Council leader.
Or And Patrick, you're obviously Scaramouche, which when I was reading a list of other roles you've been in, I was listening to Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen.
Yes.
It goes Scaramouche, Scaramouche, and that was the weirdest coincidence in the world. But
Is it a coincidence though? Yeah.
no, I deliberately set it up so that was going to happen at that time. But you also played Gus and Sandy in Brawl Stars. Your voices in games like Fallout, Omega Strikers, and of course your best known, I've written these carefully for this, as the good luck bear in the Care Bears.
Yeah, the Care Bears.
How did you get involved in Care Bears?
Do you know what's funny? This is like, people ask a question about voice acting and like, how do I get in? I went to a workshop, and I didn't want to go to this workshop. I was like, I don't want to go. Anyways, I asked my wife, hey, can I go to this workshop? I went, we were low on money. The casting director who was running it emailed me out and said, hey, you did pretty cool in class. I'm casting the Care Bears, so I just want to read for all parts. And I was like, all right, cool, wow. So I read for a part, and she's like, oh, you got good up there. Can you do 52 episodes? I was like, yeah. So yeah, that's how it was me.
How do you find the experience of doing animation compared to video games in terms of the recording process? Or generally, would you say it's actually sort of mostly the same?
I would say it's kind of the same for me. I don't know, she has a lot more credits than me. Like, I got a couple, but like, Good Luck Bear is kind of cool. Like, I get to just, yeah, he's funny. Hey, Grumpy, what are you doing? And then I got Scaramouche, who's just like, hey guys, you know what I mean? So I use my imagination, and that's basically about it, but it's fun.
And Lila?
I mean, either way, it's going to be high energy. It's going to be 2 to 4 hours of whatever you're doing, sustaining it the whole time. It's going to be physical. Anything that you can do to bring the character's energy up without affecting the microphone. I mean, recording for cartoons and video games is by far the most fun, top down. But when you can be in a cartoon also where you can be very over the top, like a Disney cartoon like Amphibia, that was one of my favorites to be a part of.
It's interesting how you just mentioned there, like, it's physical. That's something people who sort of are in the early days of aspiring to be a voice actor don't realize. It's not just standing there and saying your line. You're acting. You're acting on a side.
And you're pantomiming what you're doing while you're doing it. You know?
And that's what people don't recognize. Yeah. They don't recognize that actually you're just acting without being seen. You're still performing.
Especially when you're doing efforts in video games. You know, everything you're doing with every attack or getting stabbed, everything you're feeling it. I just did something where I was getting stabbed through the back, and I literally was pantomiming being stabbed so I could feel that, you know, and react to it. And then gasp for air, and then get stabbed again, and all these sorts of things.
Can you give us a sample? Pretty convincing. That's so interesting. So I earlier interviewed Veronica Taylor, who's the voice of Ash Ketchum from Pokemon, and she was talking about exactly the same thing, like deaths and efforts. And she said exactly the same thing: stab and twist.
Stab and twist.
It's a totally different
and
voice.
Also getting hit, depending on which part of the body. Like if you're getting hit in the stomach, it's more of ooh. But if you're getting hit on the head, it's more ah. You know, so and you want to make sure that if you're doing an effort, that it sounds like you're hitting someone. If you're getting a reaction, that it sounds like you're actually being hit, which is going to be more expelling air, like you know, versus hitting. You know, those sorts of things. Small efforts.
Small efforts.
I've hit myself in the booth to see how it feels.
That means you occasionally on like the raw audio you hear a thump.
Yeah. we could do a whole panel just on video game efforts and like how to differentiate them, because every single one has to be slightly different, and different vowels and different levels and small, medium, large, deaths and all
This is sort of jumping to the end of the question I normally ask, but actually on the topic of that, you sort of mentioned that there's so much that you're thinking just in terms of the effort sounds you make. How would you advise people, because actually by way of cheering, are any of you aspiring voice actors or currently voice actors?
Woo! Yes, we are. Yeah.
What would be your advice for how to go about learning the foundations for training to do those kind of differences? Because there's a lot more to it than people recognize, but how would you say, I mean, obviously learning to act is sort of the main thing you have to do, but what else would you advise for people to learn how to do those sort of nuanced differences?
Well, I mean, for me, for learning efforts, it was really actually studying with specific video game coaches that would go over very specific ways of reacting. I mean, it was really just monkey see, monkey do kind of stuff for me. But obviously, if you I used to do martial arts back in high school. That obviously helps if you do anything, any sort of sports, anything that involves where you're controlling your breath. That's going to help as well. Vocal training. I have a background in singing and theater and musical theater before I started doing voiceover. So learning how to. The biggest thing you need to do when you're doing video games and cartoons is all breath related. Because in every scene, okay, this part you're screaming and you're falling off a cliff, and you need to make sure that you have enough air, and also that you don't pass out. You know, there's gonna be scenes where your character is running, and you're just, you know, you're gonna be, it's gonna feel like hyperventilating, and you need to be able to support that enough. So any kind of training, especially in vocal, singing, you know, having a voice coach, you know, anybody that teaches vocal health, those are going to definitely come in handy.
This is all good advice if you're always going to listen to this.
I would say, for me, I like to work out, being in physical shape. For me, I don't live, I mean, a little bit, but it's mostly my working out is for my mental clarity. I get anxious, you know, I got like OCD, like, and when I work out and stuff, like it kind of clears my head to go in the booth. And yeah, and I would say, like, if you're starting out being a voice actor, be humble. There's a lot, even when I booked Care Bears, I did, and Genshin, I did commercials before that. And I did a couple video games, but not as big as Genshin. And there's a lot of things I didn't know going into my first session. And I was really humble, and I knew how to do this. The director was coaching me through efforts, and this is how you do a really cool effort, and teaching me. So, and it's kind of, it's humbling. It's like, oh, okay, there's a lot I don't know. So keep that I don't know, but I'm willing to learn attitude, and just be humble about it and do your best. That's all I do. You know,
that's so important across so many creative fields. So, for instance, in this world of presenting that I do, you can have someone go, oh, you're very good at this, or feel like you're doing a good job, but you have to always say to yourself, you're not. Be confident in yourself, but know you're always going to improve. Then you're never going to stop improving. You should always strive for that. Voice acting is such an interesting example of that, because there's sort of the difference between voice acting and then commercial voiceover. And sometimes one will inform the other. And everyone here is, most people in here are from the UK. You've all heard UK adverts. They all have the same melody to them. Are you paying too much for your car insurance? It's all the same. And so I do commercial voiceovers. And once you learn the melody, you can do any job in the world. Not in the world, in the UK, because it's all the same adverts. And I think there's sort of these foundational skills or tones or things that once you learn, you can start to apply.
Well, for the most part now, commercials are, at least in the US, are super conversational. So there is no one specific tone. In fact, if you have the same tone throughout, they're going to say it's not sounding like a real person. They want raw, unpolished, like somebody just pulled off the street and was given a microphone. You know, they want ums and uhs and things in the audition that make it sound really real. And then they'll make it sound a little more commercial, but yeah, I think that's a little bit different in terms of at least what we have. Our range of stuff is everything from like car advertisements, which are really big, to just like, hey, you should check this out because this is a really cool product. And, you know.
A lot of ours I think they try and do that, but it's a lot of, I was recently in a car crash, and that's why I killed my husband. It's always something really unusual. But they're all the same. Again, like you all recognise that I have the same melody and intonation.
Call the number on your screen right now.
Exactly.
Operators are standing by. Call 1-800-444.
All calls are recorded for monitoring purposes and to send you to the police. It's always, and I like that. And I think it's so important.
Sounds cool though.
Yeah, but you say that, but that's because you're not used to it. I've had 30 years of listening to it.
I've heard them too. I've been on the radio and I'm like, wow, this is a very...
Radio adverts in the UK are the worst.
They're really
I used to DJ for a local radio station and it was always the shittest adverts in the world where people are going, what's that? There's a new deal on the home base. And you go, oh God, this is...
Please, tell me more.
Exactly. There's something really great about it. But enough about talking about British adverts. There's no way we're 15 seconds. Oh, we're 15 seconds over.
Yeah.
Now forget it. I'm asking more questions. Catherine Tate couldn't wait. See, I'm a poet, and I don't know.
She's not here yet. There's a tape delay. And,
Sure, a Tate delay. Guys.
Who's the next panel?
See? It got one laugh. Forget it.
my jet lag. If I please.
There's a couple of things I'd like to ask within the world of voice acting, obviously we could go into depth about specific characters, but you guys also have booths here, right? So you guys can, if you have any personal questions you'd like to ask about characters or things, please do go and see these guys at their booths, get things signed, get a photo, whatever you might want to do. But I'd like to know a couple of really interesting things. Firstly, what's the most memorable bit of direction you've ever had across your career? Even if it's something quite unusual. For instance, I interviewed a girl from Game of Thrones, and her character was burned to death in the series. And her most memorable bit of direction was,
Yell cucumber if the fire's too hot.
that's going to be something you remember forever. Do you have anything that's unusual like that? Or even say that actually stuck with you as, oh my god, that was genuinely helpful direction that I've now taken with me forever?
There's been little bits of things that have helped me over the years. One specific note in terms of, especially video games, was focus on your character, your opposing character's eye line. Where is your character looking when they're talking? How far away are they? You know, proximity. Are they looking out the window wistfully? You know, because everything is like a movie. And then in terms of direction, there's two bits of direction that I will never forget. One is just the actual description of what I needed to do in a scene from God of War when I was Gondor from Muspelheim on the Valkyries. And they're like, all right, in this scene, you're going to have your wings ripped out of your back, and your soul will be freed, and you're going to let out the most blood-curdling scream imaginable, and go. And the other one was, I was dubbing a live-action series where this woman gets roped into helping a woman deliver what she thinks is a baby. It turns out to be an alien. And in the scene, I am helping deliver this creature, and they said, I'm actually delivering the baby. They said, okay, that was great, but we need to hear, on the second part, the first part of the week was great, but on the second part, we need to really hear like you're talking directly to her hoo-ha. Basically, it's like, this up here, and then I talk to the baby down here.
That's a happy thing to hear in your ear, and
Yeah.
talk to the hoo-ha.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, all right, that was good, but we want to hear the physicality of your head going down because now you're reaching in to grab the baby. And I was like, well, I'm never going to forget that one.
That's super amazing. I think we're going to come over to you, Patrick, for this quickly.
All right, just direction-wise, I don't know the direction, but the scene was when Nahida takes the whole boss battle, and when Nahida takes Hypnosis, because I went from being super confident to booer and, you know, wretched vermin, and then getting my Gnosis taken, and I had to go completely opposite directions within that session. So that part where he says, anything about the Gnosis? I remember Chris is like, dude, you have to bring it right here. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you're gonna see. So he showed me, and I just belted some stuff out, and imagine I was the character, and that's it.
And here you are now.
Yeah, it's crazy, yeah.
So finally, because we're going to have to get off the stage, but I want one quick thing, super quick thing. If you guys could leave people who've come to see you today with one thing to take away, whether it's about your career and voice acting or whether it's about life, what would you like them to remember from you today? A piece of wisdom.
Well, not to get too philosophical, but I believe the meaning of life is love. And I literally believe that everything that we bring out into the world is based on our energy. So, for me, that's kind of been my mantra. I feel like whatever you bring out, you get back. And that also can transfer into your personal life, into your acting life, into your business life, whatever it is that you're doing. Just be good to one another and be good to yourself. Because we're not as nice to ourselves as we should be to other people, and that's been a big lesson for me over the years is really the mental health aspect of our journey is so important. Find those people that you can talk to when you're having a tough time. It's been amazing to see what Genshin has done for people that are struggling and how it's connected to them. And people have reached out to me, just people that I don't know that have told me, or have asked me questions in terms of getting through mental health issues, and it's just something that I also personally relate to. I'm the daughter of 2 psychologists, so like I'm an empath. So for me, it's like, don't feel like whatever you're going through is too much to share with somebody. It's more important to be open, honest, and real, and the people that truly care about you will be there for you.
That was a very warm thing for you all to take away. Patrick, come here and quickly to you.
I would say be humble, take care of yourself, and realize that everybody else has their own individual story, you know what I mean? And your life could change like this for the better, for the worse. You don't know what every day's gonna bring, but I'm just grateful to be here with these people and be here. Look, I'm on Genshin. I get to go to England. It's insane. So I'm living my dream right now. So thank you guys. Appreciate
We're
it.
grateful to have you guys here. Guys, give it up for Lila Moses.